They're ready to go.
And the opening tap is controlled to the Jayhawks. Our officials for this afternoon's game, Antonio Petty, Karen George, and Jason Garrettson.
Interesting to see how they get this thing going early. Tiller's been one of those guys the last couple of weeks, has really found his way sharing the basketball. He will guard smaller players, but you can see a little bit of the ease and the vision that this set starts for Kansas. And Tiller, easy knockdown for Council, wide open.
Yeah, by the way, if you hear the dogs barking, that's because he had the quote early in the year, if you're not a dog, then you won't eat. And oh, by the way, if you're not a dog, you might as well sit down. Shot clock is under 3 already on this possession. Got to get it up. The fadeaway Jay won't fall under pressure for Terrence Brown.
Nice job, though, by the big fella staying on your feet. Don't go for any shot fakes.
Peterson, that one off the heel.
I think you got to also, if you're Bill Self, live with some of those questionable shots from Peterson. One, because he's so talented.
Yep.
But also because you got to allow greatness to be great. And I think at times you allow that.
Keanu Dawes, the Rice transfer out of Houston, Texas, knocks that one down. Tiller with a shot fake. Ran into a roadblock that time. Good work by Traore defensively.
Talk about culture. Dawes, one of 3 returners for this Utah team. And even though this is Alex Jensen's first year, you kind of still need some players to know the lay of the land a little bit, even for a coach. Great drive there. And Brown, good job. Struggled last game, Tim. I know we've talked a lot about him.
Yeah, 2 out of 16.
Yeah, and 0 points, 4 turnovers in that first half.
Nice job on the lob, and they'll run a lot of those alley-oops. A Bidunga dunk for him, and he'll get a lot of them during the course of the afternoon. They're going to live and die with the 3 ball, and Keanu Dawes now has a couple of them.
I think that's how you have to come in this building. Aggressive from behind that 3-point arc, but you also have to remember Kansas leads the Big 12 and guarding that line, and they're top 15 nationally.
Count it! In 24, he would have been rated in the top 5 of this class coming in. He's that good, but he was a little bit late getting in as a result of that injury.
Yeah, missed his entire senior year.
Sure did. Sure did. Reclassified.
Yep.
Off that dribble drive, Brown, constant motion. They get wide open looks, generally speaking. It's just a question of making a beautiful cut. And a great entry, too, from McHenry.
And when Don McHenry has the basketball, you have to keep your eyes on him, but you also have to know what's going on behind you. Terrence Brown does a nice job cutting to the basket. Got to be unselfish if you're Utah. It's one of the things they struggle at times.
Peterson really well defended on that drive. Johnny Mack giving it up to the trailer Dawes, who's hit 2 threes already for the Utes. This is exactly the start they had to have when you think about it. Making buckets early.
I love what Kansas is doing here, though, switching everything. They're not afraid to switch across the board, Tim.
Okonkwo does get tied up. The arrow is to Utah, so the ball will stay on this end of the floor.
I know Coach Self has lost. You can see it in his face. He's lost a little weight. He looks good, though. Like you talked about, he's still spry.
Yeah.
You know what you know. You can't coach any other way than what you've been doing.
He's dropped 35 pounds. A lot of times when you lose that much weight that quickly, your eyes can sort of sink back, you know, in your head, and he looks great.
Yeah.
He really does.
Your suits get a little bigger. I remember you went through that a couple of seasons
Last
ago.
year, yeah, a couple of years back when I dropped 55. Thanks for remembering that.
Yeah. Come on. If I didn't, you'd remind me anyway.
You think? An old Eddie Sutton protege. As a player, he was at Oklahoma State. Hank Iba guy was Eddie, and of course that influence paid tremendous dividends for Bill as head coach here in his travels that began in Tulsa, then over to Illinois before coming to Kansas.
And here you see Tiller on Brown. They did that against Petty.
Yep.
Last game as well. They're not afraid to put him on a smaller guard. Got to be patient, though, if you're Utah.
Well, Yeah, Traore had that one halfway down the cylinder and out. Utes now 5 out of 9 shooting after those 2 misses. They got off to a great start, though, hitting 2 out of 3. And 10 of the 12 points coming from Dawes and Brown.
Now, this is where your work has to be done if you're Utah. They're allowing just about 30 field goals a game, and you can't against a team like Kansas. And that's where you have to show some ownership, staying in front of the ball. You can't rely on what's behind you. You got to do your work on the perimeter first. Take a little pride in defending out on the perimeter there.
Great dribble drive by Council. These guards can create space with angles off the dribble about as well as any. Shot clock down to 5. Brown navigates his way to the rim. And when you watch them practice, you can tell they know where one another are going to be.
I mean, it's interesting because, you know, a little bit like Arizona, they rely on their freshmen, not just their upperclassmen,
exactly,
to find success.
And McDowell into the game. Jamari, and he comes up empty that time. Utah will go to his bench and give Brown a bit of a blow. Kendall Sanders is checked in. Josh Hayes is also on the floor. Joining up with McHenry and Keanu Dawes. Peterson has been silenced somewhat early. Always the focal point, and there, just as I mentioned it, right on cue, he takes the fall away off the baseline.
And you can see kind of how he isn't in a hurry. It's very pro-like, very like you see guys in the NBA. You think they're off balance, a little fall away, a la Dirk Nowitzki.
Yeah, yeah. Wong is also on the floor, number 9 in black. That runner, teardrop, comes off the heel, and the Jayhawks look to tie it on this possession and do. How quick was that? I think the question was, your counsel said, and they've counted on him when Peterson's been off the floor. If you're not a dog, then you're dog food.
Yeah, and he's really been a surprise, I think, for a lot of people here in Lawrence, just because when you go from level to level, you're just not sure, especially this conference, how guys are going to adapt, and Counsel's done a wonderful job.
And you see Sanders under stress that time. Jayhawks picking up the D. Another alley-oop!
Kansas team has won in so many different ways. But that last game against Tech, they were down 9 with 6 minutes to play, went on a 17-4 run to finish that game, Tim. So just when you think you got them in a good spot, they just have so many weapons. Obviously, DP knocking down 2 threes. There's only 2 field goals of that second half. That was impressive.
And by the way, if you've not seen Texas Tech or a lot of these Big 12 teams, they are loaded. This league is absolutely loaded. And you notice these perimeter jumpers, not as easy. Really good work by Josh Hayes on the glass. Gets the tie ball, but the arrow this time to the Jayhawks. And they're going to get Okonkwo and Terrence Brown back on the floor. Can't go too long in a game if you're Jensen without Brown out there.
Yeah, Brown and McHenry together, just they put so much more pressure on every team they play against, but shot selection still has to be a priority.
Off the curl, he rattles it home again. Double deuce, Peterson.
I think what I love most about DP is that he, you know, when everyone's trying to shoot threes, and that's all they're doing to prove to people how great of shooters they are from deep, he really appreciates that 2-point shot. Now, I know analytically a lot of people will disagree with me, but it's like a layup for him, Tim. And you saw that jump shot right there. He had a fall away from the baseline.
Bidunga with a rejection. Council looks for and finds his man on the wing. Oh, the iron really unkind to Trey Wright. White comes up empty. Off the bounce. Now suddenly these threes not falling. Length of the floor. Good job by Traore. Seydoux got back there to intercept that pass.
Right now, Utah needs to try to switch sides of the floor a little bit, Tim. And Kansas is doing a pretty good job staying in front and keeping them on one side because of the switching. You see a white jersey pop out, you start to go back the way you came from.
McHenry, he's rejected. So that's Brown and McHenry now that have been rejected by Bidunga. White trying to motor his way down there and get a quick one again. Unable to finish. Great bounce pass.
Something on the calendar, but what's in front of us is what we're focused on.
Cole Rosario got that foul, getting a few minutes out of that timeout. Rosario, a one-time starter, has started struggling offensively, but he's getting his minutes. Bill Self loves his hustle, loves his energy.
Well, there was a drive-by. He let a guy get to the basket.
Right.
Cole Rosario's been on paid leave for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, that's true.
We know he's there, but he just hasn't gotten the chance. But athletic, he's going to at some point, I think, help this team, and I think in the near future. But you know, getting those minutes helps consistently.
And you know, he's a 7 or 8 rotation guy, generally speaking. A little bit like Sutton. By the end of February, you're going to see maybe 7 guys. Tiller in traffic gets the cornerback in the National Football League with both the Falcons and the Chiefs. The lead is up to 5. That's the largest lead at any point in time the Jayhawks have had. Utah hanging tough here in the early moments of this game at Frog Allen.
Look at that D. Look at that D.
And it leads to this. You better hurry. Council will beat you to the ball in a heartbeat. From downtown, count it. Jaden Dawson from Omaha with love. And the lead catapults to 8.
Melvin Council Jr. could have laid that ball up. He did all the work. What a heads-up play. Find a teammate.
Like I said, they know where one another are. Beautiful drive to the basket by Traore. Seydu is pretty special.
Seydu is. Yeah, they needed that. They were 2 of their last 11 before that bucket there, Utah. Can't have dry spells in this building.
Peterson is trapped. Nice spacing in this offense, huh? That one's off the heel. Great top out, but I'm trying to keep Big 12 teams away from one another in the different regions because you've got so many teams that could be in the top 3 seeds on those particular lines coming in.
To your point, there are 4 more teams in this conference that are top 70.
That's right.
So 8 teams in conference play are above 500.
Yeah.
And that's that always bodes well for the Big 12. If you go back to 2009-10, 76 of those teams have gotten in the tournament.
And as always, I tell folks all the time in March, it's more about matchups than it is about the numeral next to your name on Selection Sunday. But right now, teams like Iowa State, along with this Kansas team that I believe can round into shape these next 3 weeks and be as good as anybody. As we see the near turnover, Brown does get the turnover and takes it all the way to the rack. And Bidunga with his 3rd block. Peterson, that's his spot. That one goes crying off the rim. He gets his own rebound. Sounds like a hockey crowd when the puck goes off the post, doesn't it? When a missed shot takes place, you just anticipate every Peterson shot to go down. Utah began this game, Donnie, 5 of 7 from the floor, but they're 3 of 13 since. And they're trying to hang on until halftime here. You want to maintain contact.
And I know Kansas is up, but I'm sure Coach Self and his staff aren't happy with 40% shooting for Utah. I know they're up 6, but it really comes down to the shot selection, the shots that Utah they're converting, shots they are getting.
Traore, Ibrahima picks up his 2nd. Make that his 3rd since coming into the game. Yeah, they've caught a little bit of a break. I think it may be a little blood that they're checking on around the chin for Council.
Yeah, that was a scary one. You get up in the air, it's almost like a defenseless player, but
Traore may have to sit at some point. He's got 3 fouls in just 4 minutes of play as they tend to Council. I don't know that there's anybody that gets up and down the floor as a guard any quicker than does Council. I mean, in transition, he is like the Roadrunner being chased by Wile E. Coyote.
And he's got length. It's, you know, when you have guys on the wing, Dawson, White, and obviously, you know, arguably the #1 pick in the draft, and Darren Peterson, it's easier to get out because you know those guys are going to be running with you. You know you have somewhere to go if you run into any trouble. So it's just, you know, it's as much about fitting for guys like Melvin Council Jr. and the money. We know that that's important, but I think what's just as important is who you're going to be playing with. You know, when you want to go and win. If you just want to go make money and score, you could. There's a million places you could go in college.
Yeah,
but for
right.
a guy like Melvin Council Jr., he probably looked at the Kansas landscape and said, I got some pretty good guys that I have his running mates, and it was easy for him to sign that name on the dotted line.
Trey White with his first points coming at the free throw line. And Kansas gets back to its largest lead at 8. By the way, Seydou and Ibrahima Traore, they are not related, same names. That lob was in there for him. He just missed the chippy. That's a bucket the Utes really needed.
Yeah, a little undersized, and you see Tiller in that 7'3" wingspan, so you go up a little bit quicker.
That's a great recovery, and he got the deflection to go with it. Kendall Sanders, a great hustle play to recover on that pass, and it's out of bounds off of Bidunga.
I think what Sanders did really well there was he paid attention to where the ball was. Sometimes you turn and you look to see where your man is, when really all you do is what Sanders did. You just turn and feel a guy.
Yep.
Keep your eye on the ball.
That's the 4th turnover for Kansas. Most of them, though, not live ball turnovers. Bidunga unable to corral that one and went off his elbow. Step back for Donnie Mack, and he's fouled.
6th in the country, a field goal percentage at almost 68%, and obviously those two are 1st in the league.
How about that? What's that old saying? One pass begets another pass,
I guess.
and then a delivery.
Well, that's why he's shooting almost 70% from the field. The unselfishness of his teammates.
Bidunga gets it at point-blank range, and he knows where to go. 30-23. Always looking for those slips and those quick cuts with the offense spread out. That's a tough shot, but it does go down for Keanu Dawes. That's 12 for him. He's been a major factor. Got that career high back in late January against BYU. He's 5 for 5 on the deck today.
And started out hitting a 3, and that's again, and Tiller handling that ball, making the decision.
Kamari McDowell back on the floor, number 11 for the Jayhawks. I think he may have gotten caught with.
Fans understand more than anyone, because when he came back out after getting that chin buttoned up, stitched up, whatever he had done to it, they were cheering.
Yeah.
Like it was Willis Reed re-entering the game with the Knicks.
They were. And by the way, the job that they've done on Peterson defensively, Utah, has negated him to some extent in this one. And that's been, I think, one of the calling cards to Utah being in this. It wasn't as if they were scintillating from the floor. They actually hung in this game in large measure on the defensive end of the floor.
See, I think Darren Peterson needs to be more aggressive. The Jayhawks are shooting 56%, so that defense of the Utes is not great. I think Peterson needs to just be a little bit more aggressive and a little bit more deliberate.
Wow, by McHenry. How about that? From the seat of his pants.
And that's what he does well.
He was trying to get an and one to go
yes,
with it.
He was. And you know what I like? You know, even though it lacks some consistency, is we don't see that flop call on three-pointers anymore.
Right. As a matter of fact, we've seen the kick-out called a few times.
We have, but not as consistent.
That's true. Length of the floor pass a little too strong, and it led Dawes to the inline, and it'll go back over to KU.
Yeah, I think you got to take, if you don't have a wide open Dawes ahead, I think you have to take 2 or 3 more dribbles, cut in front of your man, and now you have a 2-on-1, Tim. These games speed a lot of teams up. And when you're in this building, you feel it. The crowd does it. You see Kansas trying to stretch it out and speed you up a little bit.
Peterson calling his own number. And Dawes with a good block out. He's just been really solid. He has been, for me, the MVP of this game for the Utes.
And I'm in the minority, I think, probably. I like that shot by Peterson. A lot of people say it's a bad shot. Oh, good look inside, big to big. And Bill Self wants to talk about it. But
he's upset. This is shock treatment time from Coach Self.
Peterson has to stay aggressive, though. I want to see more of that. Tough shots. They have gotten it done. You saw there in those 6 wins with their defense.
Yep.
Not just below the arc, but above the arc. And 3 for 8 for Utah. That's pretty efficient. I'm surprised they haven't taken more of those threes.
There's another one of those little
Tiller.
Bang, bang, bang.
Goodness.
And right to Bidunga that gets the job done off the feed from Tiller.
Bryson Tiller could get drafted just off of his passing ability at his size alone. And his offense is going to come. He's 6'10" with a 7'3" wingspan. They like that. He contests. He can be better defensively, but boy, can he pass the ball.
Another rejection by Bidunga. And out they come. Council leads the way. White for 3. I tell you, he just does not miss Keanu Dawes many opportunities at rebounds. He's been all over the place on his way to a double-double. And Bidunga now with 4 blocks. Great cut. There's Dawes again. I mean, on both ends of the floor, he's active. 40-38. And this is as quiet as I believe I've ever heard it.
Yeah, I agree.
Inside this arena.
Oh, there you go.
And it sparks up a little bit off that little alley-oop, and a beautiful cut by White. And a great pass to go with it from Trey White.
You got to continue to share the basketball if you're Utah. I thought the way they got back into this game is plays like that.
Yeah.
You know, vision, unselfishness. You've watched them a few times this season. You know, when they hit lulls, the ball sticks in one guy's hand. And you understand when you have 2 scoring guards, it happens. But you take pressure off yourself as a guard when you get your wings and your bigs involved, because now the defense has something else to focus on. Only the really smart guards understand that. Got to move that basketball.
Brown, wrap around. Oh, man. That was a beautiful move. He had some spandex on that delivery, didn't he? Little Stacey Augmon Plastic Man action attacking the 10. There's a rejection. Great work defensively by Okonkwo. It's on the deck a little bit later at the college level than Stacey Augmon, but you played against him in the pros. And man, oh man, that was that kind of maneuver. Finding angles to the basket, that's how he made it into the league. That in his defense. White, air ball. They're going to get a discard and a foul, yeah. Oh, by the way, nickel dimer against Okonkwo. He's laughing about it. He's finding a way to smile. It was just kind of an oh, by the way shove on the shoulder, and he picks up his second. And another foul against him. That'll be 3. Traore up and on the floor again, and he doesn't have too much room for fouls himself. Picked up 3 very quickly in the first half. Bidunga, I think he may have surprised Tiller with that pass. It was knocked away by Kendall Sanders.
I do love the passing from Bidunga and Tiller. I think when it's initiated by Tiller, you have more success. You want Bidunga to be a scorer. You want him to go finish like that.
Yeah, you think?
Yes. He doesn't need to be a facilitator when you finish like that.
Well, he's into double digits now. That's 10 for him. He'll get his fair share of double-doubles. That laser was knocked away by Kansas, deflected. And 17 will remain on the clock, and Utah retains possession.
You just board him on the offensive end. It's just so hard to not get caught in between defensively, between the 2 bigs especially. But, you know, when you don't have any backside or weak side help, it's too late. Once the guard or the ball handler gets his feet in the paint, they're going to find the big fella.
Yeah, he's got sort of that Shaquille O'Neal field goal line today because all of them are dunks.
Yeah, I mean, again, that's why he's shooting almost 70% on the season.
Traore, too strong with that one. Right away, Melvin Council gets it out of there. They have done a nice job, the Utes, in defensive transition today.
This is where I'd like to see, in those situations, just once or twice, just push it a little harder, just a little more intentional. When Melvin Council Jr. gets the ball and you break out and you got a couple black jerseys behind you.
White off the bounce.
Yeah, good to see that go down for him.
8 points in the game. He is a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah.
He can do it all for you at any given time. Jayhawks back up by 6. Brown in traffic. Well, you turn down one shot. That's going to give Bidunga probably one of the easier blocks he'll have today. Peterson looking to break out. And
you got to get away from, we're shooting it well. What do we need to do on the other side? We got to get them to under 40%.
Yep.
Is what you have to do if you're Kansas, and then you'll see things start to stretch out a little bit.
Peterson gets one of the 2 free throws, 8 on the day. The Utes have done a nice job in shading him, and he's not been as sharp as he's been during this 2.5-week run that Kansas has been on. Dawes has that one knocked away, and out of thin air, it's Council. Mel with a beautiful alley-oop. But Okonkwo was right there to deflect it.
Really nice job getting back. You know, that's sometimes the gift and the curse. You think you can just throw it up anywhere, but really good hustle there by 32 in black.
On the scouting report, they took care of the lobs, didn't they?
Yeah,
they really did. There's a lot of ooping in this Kansas offense.
That Peterson backdoor there.
Bidunga with a bailout that time.
A good hustle.
Almost turned over twice, and finally it is. As Tiller could not reel it in. Crowd wanted a foul. They're not going to get it. And I think Bill may have wanted one too. He sure did. Well, they're letting them play here in Lawrence today. Jayhawks lead it by 7. Gary Wong has come back onto the floor, number 9 for the Utes. McHenry. Smooth lefty, just unable to get that one to go.
And one of the better looks he's had all game long. You stop behind that little screen up top, a little brush. You got to make those.
Look at Okonkwo again. My goodness, he's defending the 10. And he pulls down that rebound.
It's a rare miss for Peterson that wide open. You know, you're talking a guy who shoots in the 40s from 3, Tim.
Yeah, he is a layup for him. You're right. He's not been sharp today. On the dribble drive. Nice work by Kendall Sanders.
Sanders has done a nice job in I would say, some limited minutes today. He's played 16, but hasn't gotten a lot of touches. But he's made his time really effective.
Peterson held a 3 out of 9 from the floor. 1 of 4 from threes. There's another rejection. Or are they going to count the hoop?
Yeah, hits the backboard first.
He hits the backboard first. So it'll go the other way and count the basket.
Well, good try by Okonkwo. He's got to get over a little bit sooner. When you see White and Huang is in front of him, you got to shade that way. You know the help's going to come, but I still like the activity. Second late, but I love
very active around the rim today. Trey White gets credited with the basket. He's got 10 on the day. What has been a balanced scoring afternoon for the Jayhawks. Peterson struggling from the perimeter. McHenry, well defended there. Inside Bidunga. He rushed that one a little bit
too quick.
And Okonkwo is part of the reason why.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people might say, well, Kansas looking ahead. I'm telling you, Utah, from a defensive standpoint, they are playing really well, particularly in the interior. McHenry is really struggling. He's now 1 out of 8 from the floor. If he could suddenly get hot, make things a little better for Utah. The Iron is simply remaining unkind to both he and Terrence Brown. That was the problem the other day against Arizona State. There was a push, crowd's all over that one, and Bidunga is fouled this time, as Sanders will get credited for the foul, and Self is beside himself.
Well, I would say credit the crowd for one of their guys is shooting a free throw, but there's an influence that certain buildings that you and I have been in, especially this year, that the crowds have over officials.
Now, let me say this to you, too. Sean Mooney, who played for Rick Majerus in the early 90s, got a team to the Sweet 16, by the way, in 91. Sean, during the break of the Utes, told us this is the best defensive performance that Utah has had all season long.
Yeah,
so there's something to their effort, too, on the defensive end of the floor.
No question.
Great cut and a beautiful pass. Well done by Traore, and Kendall Sanders with a great slip, and it's 50-44.
And when you get to that 10-minute mark and you know, you're in a 6-point game, you start to believe in yourself a little bit more if you're Utah. But they've lost 9 of 10, but 8 of those 10, Tim, they've given up 80 or more. I don't know if Kansas is going to get to 80.
And those incredible.
Now, Tim, love when teams come out. Not only do they remember what they're supposed to run, but they run it to perfection. It's what you saw there by Utah.
Gee, well, one of the nicest things you've ever said to me.
I got one in me, so you used it up.
Either Terrence Brown or McHenry get warm. I mean, look out. Utah is dangerously hanging around. He continues to drive because the three is not falling. Alley-oop time once again for Trey White.
Melvin Council Jr. What an epiphany, if you will, Tim. He has been just above and beyond. Sixth assist today. I mean, he's really played above anyone's expectation, maybe not his own. Let me tell you, he really is becoming the glue for this Kansas team.
Well, this may be one of those patented runs right here that we've been waiting on. Largest lead, they're up to double digits for the first time. It's up to 10, and this is another one of those critical sequences for Utah. This guy's not missed today. Pretty good idea.
Without fouling, and then on the other end, I'd love to see Kansas have a few more of those plays where they're kind of pushing the envelope a little bit, pick up the pace just a tiny bit. I just, when you're playing against a team like Utah, it's really not that deep. You've got to wear them down a little bit.
I'm really surprised that was not in the act of shooting. McHenry, the Iron just a dastardly deed to him there. That ball should have been in. A good rebound.
That's some good looks.
Dawes, and he's fouled. He'll get to the free throw line.
He's had some really good looks, McHenry.
Brown can't buy one from deep, neither can McHenry. But somehow, some way, they've managed to hang in there.
Yeah, you're right. 10 minutes, 10 points. This is a danger zone right now for Utah.
Without question. They need a basket here. You allow Kansas to get up by, say, a dozen or more, then the avalanche can come. That's a good pass on the baseline. Okonkwo had it, lost it, and sorry he missed us, but this is just the epitome of a great college town.
I will say that you have to get here.
Yep.
It ain't the easiest. But once you're here, you're here.
About 45 minutes from, 50 minutes from the Kansas City airport. Tiller! And he's rejected again by Okonkwo. that! And here's Dawes on the other end trying a three.
I got to shoot the first one. It's a hard reset for guys who aren't pure shooters to pull that ball back. You got to shoot the first one if you're open.
Utes just doing the job, though, on this end. They can't buy a bucket from the perimeter offensively. Peterson alley-ooping and knocked away. That's going to count.
It's different when bigs are down there. They know to roll defensively to protect that paint. Guards can't cover it.
I'll give you an idea as he misses that free throw. Brown and McHenry together 6 of 23. All right, 1 of 7 from downtown. 16% and 23% collectively from the floor and from beyond the arc. That's not going to cut it on the road against a team like KU. White And the rebound to Dawes, and he's creeping up on a double-double. And points and boards. Brown, that little hesitation that Bidunga forced him to take was the difference there. And his drop continues.
Yeah, and he struggled against ASU. His first points came at about 8 minutes to go in that game. So
they had to work to make the game competitive at the end.
Yeah. McHenry had a little bit better game, but you need them both on the same page at the same rate, especially in this building against Kansas.
Dawes is going to solo here. Why not? He's done it all, inside, outside, all around the town. Keanu Dawes, he's got 20. And without them, they're not nearly this close. 6 minutes left. And the lead down to a dozen. Council going crossover on that mismatch. Peterson. Yeah, those are shots that these folks are generally seeing go down when he takes them.
See, this is where Utah needs to push. You can't allow Kansas to get back. At Dawes again from that left wing. We saw him earlier, Tim, where he thought about it, took a dribble, no one was on him, then they recovered, he missed it. There, you got to shoot the first one. I think what happens is it's so early in the shot clock. He's just, even if he's wide open, he's just not comfortable letting that one go. If you're open against this defense, it's probably a pretty good shot. I don't care what's on that clock.
Yeah, he's disappointed with himself as he checks out. Probably a little tired, too. He's done a lot out there today. Seydou Traore back out there, along with Hayes. And another. Well, this is going to be now his 18th game this season with 2 or more blocks. And his efficiency rating is off the charts. No question about that. From the Republic of Congo. You know, the work ethic that you find from these players, and you know this having seen so many international guys through the years. Nigeria, if they come from the Congo, they are so happy. They're the easiest guys in the world to coach. And the level of intelligence, Donnie, that they bring to the floor is incredible. Brown, coaches just didn't want to see it. And that goes all the way back to the days of guys like Darnell Valentine in the early 80s. Kansas was just a dominant program and remains so with Bill Self. Look at that. Bidunga again. Finger roll. 15 points for him.
He's amphibious. We saw him get a dunk with the left hand. We saw him finish with the right. Big fella using both hands. All my old heads will appreciate that phrase. Term. Yep.
Yeah. Charles Shackelford coined that phrase as the 3-ball goes down for McHenry. Charles Shackelford, after the '87 ACC tournament final, looked at Coach Valvano and said, you know, Coach says I'm amphibious. Never forget the look on V's face when that happened. Good pass out of the post again. Off the heel, does not fall for Council. Hey, Utah continues to play hard defensively, even though they were down by massive double digits. And there's a beautiful straight line drive by Brown. And Bill Self not at all pleased with that defensive sequence.
Well, the last 2 offensive sets for Utah, it's come from their 2 studs.
Yep. And the lead back down to 10. Peterson on a blow-by, and he's fouled. This is not some guy that's saving himself for the next level. This is a really good kid that has had some issues with hamstring, with ankles, and they're just being careful. And I credit Bill Self and the Kansas staff, as well as his teammates, for understanding that. He's a very likable young man. It's easy in today's transactional era to think otherwise.
It's easy to be likable when you're best player on the floor every single night.
And Bidunga goes reversal. He's got 17.
I agree with you, though. I don't think he's playing for anything other than right now, especially when he literally has a lottery ticket waiting to be cashed in.
Correct.
He knows the numbers. They've already won.
About what's ahead for him. His general manager, the guy that's helping him, is the guy that hired him for a D-League job that he left Rick Majerus for at St. Louis when he was on his staff back in 2012. And Wes Wilcox is now the GM for the program here at Utah. There's Bidunga again with another rejection. Brown's going to be seeing this in his sleep tonight. All those drives to the basket that number 40 knocked away. But don't sleep on Utah in the future. They're going to be around, and it's going to be a tremendous program again, the way they're accustomed to seeing it in Salt Lake City. Alley-oop again. Boy, that little bang-bang perimeter to high post, low post has been working all day today.
I love seeing that because so many teams in America put their bigs at that high post to be dribble handoff guys for guards to come get the ball for them. Bill Self puts his bigs in a position to facilitate, to make those passes, to always kind of keep the defense on guard.
Dawes finally missed one. White.
Yeah, he's at his best.
7 blocks now, by the way, for Bidunga.